Mike White is doing something that has never been done in the history of Georgia basketball right now. And we're going to talk about it today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Clint and Daniel, Locked On Bulldogs. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. We really appreciate it. We are here talking about Mike White absolutely on a heater right now.
A heater.
FanDuel, we thank you for being today's title sponsor. FanDuel, make every moment more. FanDuel.com/lockedon. More on them in a second. But like I said, Mike White is on a heater. This college basketball program for UGA is on a sharp incline. And if you're not there, now listen, Georgia fans.
Listen to him before you hang up.
Because I'm preaching to myself right now.
This is man's, I love to hear it.
I'm preaching to myself. You can have doubts. You can have skepticism. You could not be excited till there's production. All of that is true. But when your eyeballs and your ears and reports and facts and evidence come streaming your way, and the amount of complete and utter top tier talented basketball players staying committed to Georgia, staying at Georgia, not hitting the transfer portal, and adding top tier, I mean, killers, number one dudes on other teams coming into Georgia, you have to take notice. So if you're not taking notice, if you're saying to yourself, where's the football? The football is here, but basketball is here also. It's time to open your eyes. It's time to open your hearts and embrace Mike White, just like I am. He's got me going. Daniel, there has been this week alone, I guess 2 weeks technically, last 2 weeks, enough news to make us start talking foolishly and stupid about the prospects for this Georgia team next year as we look to the NCAA March Madness, because that's not insane anymore.
No, stop. That's where we're going. This Georgia basketball team next year is going to the NCAA tournament. And I said at the top, Mike White's doing things that are unprecedented in the history of Georgia basketball. And it's not like Georgia has never raked in top caliber recruits before. Are you watching the NBA playoffs right now? Because
the face of the NBA,
the face of the National Basketball Association is a former letterman at the University of Georgia. These are the times that we are living in, Clint. It's not like we haven't ever gotten top recruits. Obviously, Ace and Newell already in the program. This week, Mike White goes and adds Somto Cyril, another elite recruit on an elite AAU program coached by Damian Wilkins. Shout out to a former damn good dog. Not only are we adding elite recruits, not only is Mike White continuing to dominate the transfer portal, which we're going to talk about that on this episode, but it's the returning players, Clint. And that's what you brought up at the beginning, and that's where I want to start. So we're going to talk about the incoming freshmen.
The talent influx is this, to me, this first segment is the reason I'm most excited.
We're going to talk about the incoming freshmen, and we're going to talk about the transfers. All right, segments 2 and 3. But right now, this is the thing that Mike White's doing that's never been done in this era so far of the transfer portal and NIL and college basketball recruiting landscape as we know it. Even you think about the Anthony Edwards recruiting class, obviously Ant-Man goes to the NBA, but then that class just gets broken up. Guys are leaving. They can't get out of there fast enough, which, to be fair, if you were coached by Tom Crean, you would leave as well. But it's the fact that Silas Demery Jr. and Blue Kane and Dylan James all early on in the process announced that they were coming back to Athens. It tells me two things, Clint, and I'm curious to get your take on this. Maybe hear what you think is the most important. What's the biggest thing for the future of Georgia's basketball program? It tells me two things. Number one, it tells me that Mike White is selling something that, and everybody out there is selling something, Clint. The thing is that Mike White's selling something that people are buying. People near to him, the people that matter the most, the people that are on the inside are still buying what Mike White is selling. He has not in any way, he might have lost some of the fan base after Georgia started out hot this year and then kind of skittered at the end. But he hasn't lost the locker room, and you see that because the most important core pieces, those three guys, decide that they're all coming back to Athens. And the second thing it tells me, Clint, is that Georgia isn't afraid to start spending a little NIL money.
There it is.
Because there were some incentives for those kids to be coming back, as there should have been. And you might think, well, we probably spent all our money on those guys, and so we're probably not going to get any good big names in the transfer portal, probably not going to get any more big name recruits. But you'd be wrong about that. There seems to be money to go around now in the basketball program, putting us back on a level with the teams that we're trying to compete against, which is a fantastic thing for the future of the program, Clint.
I just observe things in life. If you want to know, you look at somebody who has like a cup or a jacket, and it's been the same jacket, the same cup for like 10, 15 years, and it's still in working. You're like, oh, that's probably a good product. And other people are copying what they're doing. Okay, good. And then, other jackets are falling apart. Other goods are diminishing. If I just take a look around college basketball right now.
Here we go.
There's products diminishing everywhere.
Left and right.
Kentucky, how you doing?
It's not been a great off season.
Oh, no.
You literally got exactly what you wanted, and it's not working out great so far.
Diminishing returns all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I look
Auburn.
at Georgia.
How you doing? Auburn. How we doing over there, Bruce?
Wow.
You were talking about some swings and misses, by the way. We're going to talk about R.J. Godfrey in the third segment. Sorry, Auburn.
Oops. I look at Georgia, and I see Mike White.
Yeah. What do you
calling a shot and then making good on it.
Yep.
And we're increasing and others are decreasing. We're keeping talent in when others are seeing them just roll out the door. And that to me is the biggest thing. And secondly, just like when Kirby Smart got to Georgia, there was a noticeable difference and seismic shift in where the importance was. Now, football, you can go ahead and develop a 3-star into a day one draft pick.
Basketball, can you do that? Is that possible? Have we ever even seen proof of that?
He does it at a rate 10 times the rate of other coaches, just so you're fully aware. And that's not a lie. Go look.
Oh, so those are that's math that you're doing to prove the ridiculous point that we made on the episode last week.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
But basketball's a different beast. Basketball, you got to be a dude. Okay, you can develop and you can play a team and you can do UConn stuff, but UConn's got dudes, got shooters, got scorers, got talent in there. It's not a whole bunch of hacks. Mike White can coach, and now he's got dudes to go with it, and he's keeping them in because they can sell. It's so good.
Anyone can just take a reservation. You understand what we're trying to say? It's the holding of the players.
Yeah, I'm gonna need insurance on that because I'm gonna just drive the.
I'm going to. You love to see it. Listen, we're going to talk about the incoming freshmen. There's only 2 of them so far, but this just in, we might be adding to that mix. We're not done yet, but there's only 2 of them so far. But it is among the best classes in Georgia history, and then we're going to talk about the transfer portal guys in the third segment. But first, these.
All right, game off. We got to pause here and talk about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that, but this is just so much good stuff in this game. Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for time tournaments where you work together, build up your team's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. There's so much more to get. Unique stickers to trade with friends. Cool new playing pieces to travel the board with. Hilarious emojis for taunting friends. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton included with their unique mini games like digging for treasures or a robot Pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win on Rent Frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go downtown. Or download it for free now. Google Play, App Store. Game on. Daniel, you said we only have two. We only have two incoming freshmen.
We do.
But there's more to come. So we're going to get. But the two that we have.
They any good?
What if I was to tell you that's all we get for this cycle? It's not all we're going to get.
It's not all we're going to get.
That's all you get. How happy would you be with that? If I said they're locked in, they're coming, they're on campus, but you only got two. These are the two. Tell the people who they are and why it's so exciting.
It's Asa Newell, who's been committed for a while, consensus 5-star, top 10 prospect nationally. This is an absolute dude. This is an absolute beast. Projected lottery pick in next year's NBA draft. This is a difference maker in Athens, right? This is not, I'm not going to call him an Anthony Edwards, but this is a difference maker in Athens right away. He's been projected for a while, but then all of a sudden the offseason, Mike White gets in that kitchen and things begin to heat up for the University of Georgia. And all of a sudden you got a guy in Santos Cyril who's committed to overtime elite player, AAU team in Atlanta. He's committed to Kentucky, Coach Cal, for a long time. Obviously, Kentucky gets exactly what they want. They run off their bum coach, and they hire they hired Danny Hurley, right? UConn's coach. Is that who they got?
They tried, Daniel. They tried.
Oh, they swung and missed on it. Oh, they hired Baylor's coach, didn't they? Is that who they got? They went ahead and they got Baylor's coach.
They put feelers out, and the feelers came back negative.
Oh, he not interested either. Okay, they went and hired Mark Pope from BYU, former Letterman, the biggest try-hard looking dude you've ever seen in your entire life. And Santos Cyril said, he basically said, goodbye. I'm leaving now. I will not be participating in the drills. He's coming in to Athens. 6'10 center. He is a shot blocker. He's a rim protector, consensus 4-star guy. This is another top 50 prospect in all the recruiting services that you look at. These guys are, it's not just how good they are. It's their makeup and where they play on the court. You see what I'm trying to say? Georgia got great production out of the center position last year in what I thought was an absolutely underrated transfer, that they bring in. Get great production out of. But to say Georgia has upgraded athletically in the paint is probably the largest understatement. You pair these two guys now with Dylan James, who's ready to go coming in year 2. Another 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", more of a wing player, but he can play down low. He can bang. He's incredibly athletic as well. There's a chance you're gonna have times when you're gonna have all three of those guys on the court at the same time. But you love Georgia's shooting. You love the guard play. Obviously, with Demery and Kane coming back, we're gonna talk about some of the transfers that are coming in. A lot of great perimeter guys. To add these two young men with their athleticism, the way that it's going to change the game defensively, Clint, for Georgia, cannot be overstated.
If I look at the recipe for teams that make the tournament, look at the ones that win, look at the ones that make the Final Four. It's stout defense, which, by the way, hi, Mike White. I saw you drastically improve a team that had zero, and I mean zero, interest in playing defense with Tom Crean. It was painful. And all of a sudden you got long, athletic, agile rim defenders all over the place. You said that lineup, we might see those three. I better see those three on the floor at the same time, because
at some point you will, for sure.
That's going to be thrilling. And go ahead, just try to get your half court game going against them. It's going to be very, very difficult. And if I know how Mike White coaches, defense turns to offense turns into fast break, turns into good, productive efficiency on the defensive side of the court, which that's how teams are winning conference games and then making the tournament.
You come to the offensive side with these two guys, Clint, and it's pretty obvious what you're going to get out of them right away.
Yep.
And what you're going to get out of them right away is an absolute dominant lob threat. Now, again, I said I loved the production that we got out of the center position last year. Obviously, 7-2, 7-1. Not a lob threat. Not a threat to run to the rim, to roll hard into the paint, catch one up top, one power dribble, drop step, and throw it down. And Clint, you pair two rim running lob threats with a guy like, I don't know, Silas Demery Jr. Is he able, Clint, to get into the paint off the dribble and draw a help defender to him? Is he able to just get that big man on the opposing team to just scoot on over his way? And then all of a sudden, he's not shooting floaters this year, Clint. No. He's just throwing it up there to the rim. And Silas Demery is going to have 14 assists a game just throwing lobs to these big freshmen.
It's not just the talent, it's the type of talent and the production that they all work together. You could see Mike White, what he is crafting and orchestrating together. It's phenomenal.
This team's making the NCAA tournament. And listen, Georgia fans, if we make the tournament and you are not dancing in the streets celebrating, then you need to go away. This is, you went to or cheer for a university with a bottom feeder basketball program.
That's currently
joke of a basketball program
before this next season.
But Mike White is changing things. He's elevating things. He's bringing some consistency to the program in recruiting. You've seen year over year improvement, and now the talent leap that you mentioned in segment one. From last year to this, you look at the guys that are leaving the program, right? And you look at the guys that are coming into the program, and they're not the same guys, Clint. They're not the same guys at all. We talked about the freshmen. We're going to talk about the transfers, because as exciting as the freshmen are, the transfers might be more exciting than that. And we're going to talk about it right after this.
And that is game time. Daniel and I love game time. And you best believe when we make the tournament next year, we better be going ahead just figuring out what region we in and what the flights are and how to use them. Southwest.
Are we going? Are we committing now to go? We're going.
I'm telling you this right now.
Georgia
makes smart. We are going.
We're going, and it's going to be a scene, y'all.
That Chili's is going to burn down.
Y'all better get you the Game Time app and come out and join us.
Last minute deals, all in prices, views from receipt, lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets or college basketball tickets. Right now, go ahead and find your team, your concert, your place, and go ahead and customize your spot and get excited. Last minute deals, save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Flash deals, save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. Take the gifts we're out of buying NBA tickets for Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, freshmen are good and coming in, but I agree. So Daniel has orchestrated the retention of the roster, the influx of young talent, but y'all, we getting dudes coming in from other programs who are going to instant impact, not gear up for a on ramp into the season, not figure out their footing on the college game, catch up to speed, but rather from day one will be the difference maker and the speed trendsetters on the court for Georgia. We just got a big one this week, Daniel.
We got a big one this week. I want to start with him, RJ Godfrey, coming back home to
Georgia
Athens. He's a Georgia native, and not just that. he's not just a Georgia native. He's a Georgia legacy, Clint, because his dad, Randall Godfrey, maybe you've heard of him.
I have.
He was a dominant force on the Georgia football team in the 90s.
Yeah.
First team all-freshman team, led the team in tackles as a true freshman. That any good, Clint, in the linebacker position? And let me just tell you,
Sir.
if you thought Randall was put together, RJ went ahead and got in the gym and said, Dad, sit on down now. We're talking about 6'8", and we are talking about he knows how to use his body to gain position. This is a physical, dominant, grown man, big guy. He's got some skill. He's got some touch. He can flat out shoot the ball. Had double digits in both their tournament games. Was a critical factor for Clemson last year, and he decided the grass was going to be greener in Athens, Georgia, Clint. Which again, we're talking about a team that was the 6th seed in the NCAA tournament. A team that finished in the top 3 in the regular season in the ACC.
Yeah.
And a team that has a lot of momentum, bringing back a lot of time. And RJ Godfrey was the number 1 dude that they're trying to. He was the Silas Demery of that team.
And he just said.
And he said, no, I'm sorry.
Fine.
I'm out. Listen, that alone should tell you about the gravity that Mike White is creating in Athens. It is a black hole situation going on in Athens right now, where people are being sucked in from other programs who genuinely would have no business. The other 3 transfers we're going to talk about, these are better players than we have gotten in years past, but these are the types of players that you would expect Georgia to be going and getting in the transfer portal. RJ Godfrey is not. He is the type of player that you would expect North Carolina or Duke or Arizona to be, or Indiana to be going and getting in the transfer portal. But he's coming home to Athens. He brings Clint with the 2 young athletic bigs coming in.
Gosh.
The physicality and grown man toughness that he brings, I don't think can be overstated. In addition to, he can pop out and hit a mid-range jumper. He can put the ball on the deck and play with a little bit of, a little bit of athleticism in his game as well. He's going to be a monster on the glass. He's going to be a huge factor for this Georgia team. He's the guy that comes in that genuinely makes me go, I think there might be 9 guys on this team that could start next year. And there's only 9 people on the roster right now.
Correct.
And I think all of them could legitimately be a starter on this team, and I'd be fine with it. I would be fine with it. You look at the transfer class overall, which, by the way, this recruiting class overall that Mike White's put together, I said unprecedented at the beginning of the show, it's 9th nationally, according to On3 Sports. So that is in the top 10 nationally. It includes RJ Godfrey, the transfer portal class, Dakota LeFew, and Deshane Montgomery, both from Mount St. Mary's. Dakota LeFew, first team All-MAC performer, averaged almost 18 points a game last year, Clint. And then Justin Absom from App State, another elite scorer, but a big guy, athletic. He kind of, to me, he comes in and takes the Jalen Deloach role, but he's better than Deloach. And that's the theme. That's the theme of all these transfers, right? It's like, how good was Noah Thomason for Georgia last year?
Very good.
He was the best transfer we got last year. I do not say this with any disrespect to Noah Thomason because I love him. That last interview he gave about how much he loves Georgia. Beautiful. Noah Thomason's a damn good dog, and I love him dearly. And I could be wrong about this. But I think he would, if you added him to this transfer portal class and made 5 guys, I think Noah Thomason would be the 4th best in the class. And I don't think that's a stretch at all. That's how good, and he was our best transfer last year. That's how good the level of talent is in Athens. The waterline just keeps going up and up and up. You just do not have you are not seeing Georgia just take guys to fill spots. That this roster, again, so far only 9 players deep. This roster is as good as I can ever remember in Athens, with the possible exception of the Jarvis Hayes year under Jim Harry. This is probably the best roster that Georgia has had in 20 plus years. And I don't think you could argue with me about that.
Please stop if you are. This Georgia team, those incoming, I think for me, again, freshmen, great recruiting trail, love it. Retention, transfers are number 2. Then the freshmen. They're going to all play. It's going to all be great. And it is going to lead to a tournament bid. I'm here for it. We burning that Chili's down. Dance in the street. He is Daniel. I'm Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs. This has been your podcast daily for Georgia Bulldog content. Come back. Check us out. Thanks for having us here first listen. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.